Hi, everyone. It is the Janelle Show, and we are here today with Anza Goodbar. I wanted to introduce you guys because I'm so excited for what Anza has to share. She is a serial entrepreneur, John Maxwell certified coach, life design strategist, trainer, motivational speaker, and five-time best-selling author. After experiencing financial setbacks in 2008 with just $27 in her bank account, Anza opened up her first online business. Within her first year, she created a thriving six-figure business and has designed a business model with multiple streams of income to recession-proof her revenue possibilities. Today, she helps women whose lives have been interrupted by COVID-19 restructure, retool, and revitalize their life strategies to overcome the challenges that come to work from working at home and struggling and juggling e-learning with their kids. She teaches them how to build a six-figure business based on their skills, experience, and passions that provide them flexibility and financial freedom. Woo, Anza.
That was a mouthful, wasn't it?
But it was great. It was a good mouthful. That's amazing.
Oh my goodness.
Congratulations on all of that. That's amazing.
Oh,
Seriously.
thank you. Thank you. It has been such a fun journey. Oftentimes we look at things that happen in our life and you think, oh, woe is me. This is really horrible. In 2004, I started a mortgage company. It was one of the most fun things I ever did. In 2008, the mortgage industry crashed and we lost everything. We lost the business, we lost our homes, we lost our cars, we lost our dignity. And it was like, where do I go from here? And as horrible as that was, and I'm not going to lie, it was pretty horrible. It's what propelled me into the online world. And it gave me opportunities to do things that were really more in alignment with my natural giftedness. And it has allowed me to help more people tap into what their joy is and bring more passion and fulfillment into their lives too. So I can relate to all the women who have been displaced by COVID that, sometimes external forces impact our life and we have no control over what happens. Jobs disappear. As some are going to come back after COVID, some aren't. In the mortgage industry, we thought, oh, we're just going to hold on. This is going to self-correct. This is going to be okay. But it wasn't for us. For some people in the demographic that they dealt with, but we dealt with subprime lending, and those lending tools just did not come back. And, we were too small to compete with the big banks. And so it's like, okay, what's next? God, what are you doing? Where are you leading me? Let's go. And so that's what we did. And now I have the pleasure of being able to help women who have been displaced or who have needed to forfeit their job to be home to help their kids with e-learning. Right now in the United States, do you know that only 15% of our kids are in school in any type of capacity? So there's a lot of moms out there whose lives have been disrupted by this pandemic and they need help. And I'm here to help. Isn't that fun?
Yeah. I know mine has. I know my son, he goes to school 2 days a week.
Okay.
He might not do that next week. We'll see. There's a lot of craziness going on with the inauguration coming up.
Yes.
So yeah, I might be pulling him.
Well, we have to make those decisions and we have to be fluid. And right now, with what's going on in the country, I'm wondering if a lot of schools are going to be closed next week just for the safety of our kids.
Yeah, I'm not sending him because if they decide that they're going to lock schools down, I'm not going to be able to get him. And I will just.
Yeah. I would flip out.
Yes. So I'm not even going to leave that up to chance. I'm just going to pull him and just keep him home for the week. It's fine. He'll be all right. So yeah.
Yeah. Good.
But these are the things, this is the climate that we're in. These are the things that we have to think about. I do want to ask you, I want to go back to what you said in the beginning with the mortgage industry. I'm interested on your opinion on what's different from back then than what we're going through now. What seems different to you?
Sure. The biggest difference right now to me is when the mortgage industry crashed, it was just a sector of our economy, a sector of our population that were impacted. And not even everybody was. I mean, some mortgage brokers went and worked at a bank or at a larger lending institution. And so not everybody was impacted. Right now, regardless of your race, your income level, where you live demographically, everybody has been impacted in some way by this pandemic. Um, not being able to go to restaurants, we've been locked down. People are missing connection.
Mhm.
People are craving connection. I was having a conversation with a friend just before we hopped on, and I said, I used to live up in the foothills, and we were about almost an hour away from anything
Mhm.
significant to do. And I'm an introvert, so it didn't really bother me um, being away, being isolated. The
Mhm.
weekend before the lockdown happened, we moved back into the city.
Mhm.
And now it's driving me crazy. I can see the mall from my house. I can see the grocery store from my house, and I can't do any of it. I can't go to restaurants. I can't go to the library. We can't go play at the parks, and it has brought about a different set of mindset issues. And I think that so many of us, and, I think me included, I've run my business on Zoom
Mhm.
for more than a decade. I mean, this is the way I work with people all over the world. But now that this is what you're confined to, you really recognize that you're missing that hug. You're missing that interaction, that physical touch. And for people, especially who are single, I think it is really, really draining on them. And especially when we were on total lockdown and so many people weren't working at all, and they just were in the confines of their four walls at home. And so I think it's really caused us to look at making connections in new ways
Mhm.
and finding fulfillment in new ways, supporting each other in new ways. And I think it has brought about a new sense of community that we didn't have in the 2008 crash. For so many people, their life just went on as usual. It didn't impact them at all. And here, I think we have a lot more compassion because we're going through it together.
I like that. I definitely like that. It makes me think about your demographic as mothers.
Mhm.
So I've been just watching how this has affected my son. And so I just feel like mentally for him, he's like, I miss my friends. He was watching Daniel Tiger yesterday, and Daniel Tiger is explaining to them what is going on without saying that this is what's going on. And
Right.
he was responding back, I miss my friends. I'm sad. And
Yeah.
he's expressing that to Daniel Tiger. And I think as an adult, I wanted to express that to Daniel Tiger too.
I know. I'm helping raise a 7-year-old granddaughter,
Mhm.
and she goes to a private school, and I have always volunteered at school. I have been there in the classroom. I've been helping with the art projects and all of the fun stuff. And this year, our school went to exorbitant lengths to be able to have our kids in class 5 days a week.
Mhm.
They, put in a new HVAC. They've, designed a new school schedule. So every Friday, the school is totally disinfected, and they've put all these things in place, which I so appreciate. But one of the things that is in place is nobody except for teachers and students go into the school building. And so I'm missing having that relationship with the teachers. I'm missing seeing the artwork on the walls. I'm missing the hugs, because those kids know we only have less than 400 kids at our school.
Mhm.
It's really small, but they're like, oh, you're Izzy's Yaya. Oh, I know you. And they all want to hug you. She's just 7, so they're still in that age where everybody wants hugs and reinforcement, and I miss that.
Yeah.
I miss it. And I know it's only temporary. And I know that it's a great thing so our kids can be in school. Because last year, when we went to straight lockdown, it was incredibly difficult. We did everything virtually, and, they had a plan. They saw this coming. but it was hard. It was so hard for the kids to look through the screen and see their friends, but not be able to touch them, not to be able to hug them. And even now, they're still having to social distance. They have to be 6 feet apart, and they've got a plexiglass screen between them, in the classroom. It's
Right.
still not the same.
I
It's still not the same.
I can, first of all, he can't do, my son, speaking for him, he cannot do, he's highly advanced, so he can't do this right here. He cannot do
Right.
it. He hates it. He
Yeah.
starts screaming if he sees people on screen. He's
Yeah.
very upset. He wants to be, he's very social, so he wants to interact in person like your granddaughter.
Yeah.
So, and then in my mind, for him to sit behind a plexiglass to start school because he's going to be going to kindergarten, I'm probably not even going to send him, to be honest with you. I'm just going to just keep him at home and see if I can find families that want to do some type of social interaction. And those are the kids that he will be
Right.
interacting on a regular basis. I
Yeah.
think that COVID has forced us to think outside of the box
It has.
when it comes to everything that we're doing. And I think that kind of leads us to what you're doing for your clients, right? You're thinking outside of the box of how they can, get through this and still make money. So tell me more about that.
Sure. So I do a little process that I call reverse engineering, not a new term, but when I meet with women who are needing to create income and just don't know what the next steps are, we look at what their passions are. What do they love doing? Who do they love doing it with? We look at what don't they love doing and what do they wish they didn't have to do. And sometimes we can't eliminate all of that, but we can minimize it. And then we look at what their experience is and what their skill set is. And we build a business based on the things that bring them happiness and joy, that are in alignment with their purpose and core values. But most importantly, we design something that works around their family. So if they need to be present and be home during the day to either homeschool or help virtual school their kids, they can run their business on hours that make sense around their family. Having lost my income when I lost the mortgage company, I vowed never to have just one stream of income. And so I also talk to women about what else can you do in your business where you can create more than one stream of income. So for me, I have a virtual business services company. And so I can provide admin services, I can provide business strategy, project management, and I also have a coaching company where I work with women one-on-one and help them, with mindset issues, with business strategy, how to build a business, that type of thing. And
Mhm.
so when one side of my business isn't doing well because of economy or whatever, I can flex into the other side of my business. You mentioned that I'm a five-time best-selling author. That's another avenue of income. I
Mhm.
can sell my books, I can do book signings, I can bring in revenue that way. I can book speaking engagements where I can sell my books and create other avenues of income, because I vowed to myself that I was never going to be stuck with my panties down around my ankles
Mhm.
again.
Mhm. Yeah.
I was totally at the mercy of decisions that were made far above my pay grade, right? I
Mhm.
was operating within the parameters that we had, and then all of a sudden, and it was literally almost overnight that when things shut down,
Yeah.
everything just catapulted. It was like the domino effect. And so I really want to help women create the freedom that they need in their life, in their business, to feel like they're in alignment. Because when we are in alignment in our life, in our business, we're better moms, we're better wives, we're better sisters, we're better friends, we're better community members. And there just is a flow that happens in your life. And when you know that you're making the impact that you were designed to make, everything just works. And the thing is, when I started my online business, and I tell this story all the time, I had met a woman who was in the virtual business back in, I think I probably met her in like 2006. And
Mhm.
she kept trying to get me to hire somebody to work in my business. And I told her, I said, that is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. I have a brick and mortar business. I have people that come into my business. I need someone inside my business live to greet them, to get them coffee, to set up signing rooms, to make the signing packets and photocopies and all of those things, They can't do that remotely. But I'll tell you what, when my business came to an end, I met with a headhunter. They said maybe we could get you $50 or $65,000 a year. I was like, yeah, that's less than half than what I'm making now. I don't think so. Plus, you want me to pay you a fee? No. I looked at things that were available. Uh, this was back in 2008. Everything was less than $20 an hour. It was like, I can't live on that either. I'm still raising kids. And so I was like, I wonder if I can do what she does. And all of a sudden, the idea that I thought was the dumbest idea in the world became the most brilliant opportunity available to me. And, within 6 months, I was making six figures and I had 11 women who I was teaching to do what I was doing, working with me.
Nice.
And, I know it doesn't work out that way for everybody. I happened to be in the right place at the right time. But you know what? There wasn't a manual, there wasn't a roadmap. We had to figure it out on our own. Facebook was just getting started. Instagram and Twitter. I don't even remember when Instagram hit the scene. Twitter was shortly after that. And
Mhm.
we had to figure out all of these types of things. And, it was word of mouth that got me started, but then getting into social media and being able to learn new ways of marketing and presenting yourself. And then along came, video and Zoom, and it opened up more and more opportunities. And so I've been able to evolve and grow my business as new technology has become available. But because I did start my business with nothing in my bank account, I relied on free services that you could use. A lot of programs have a light version that you can use free up to a certain point. Maybe it's the number of emails you're sending out, or the number of subscribers that you have, or the number of posts that you post at a time. There are tools that are available to women who are just getting started, and I love to share those resources with them too, because there is a fallacy. You don't need to have a boatload of money to start a business. You can pave the road that you're walking on and develop it as you go.
I love that. I was just going to ask you, what is one piece of advice that you would give to a budding entrepreneur?
Yes, well, that is definitely one. And the other is bartering for services.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of people forget about that, but you know what? If you need a website and you don't know how to build one, there might need be somebody who needs marketing and you do marketing, and you can swap services. If you need coaching, you could barter with a coach for coaching services and maybe provide admin support of some sort, or whatever your giftedness is, to get the tools that you need to start your business or to grow your business to the next level. And, one of the things that I let people know is, one, you always want to have an agreement when you barter with somebody. You want to put it in writing, just as if you were paying hard cash to somebody, because otherwise there's going to be hurt feelings. If there are not parameters set for your agreement, whether you're trading dollar for dollar or hour for hour, or end result for end result, however you design that is up to you. So you're creating a win-win situation, but make sure that there's clear parameters so you know what the deliverables are on each side of the equation. And keep in mind that when it comes to the IRS, they look at those bartered dollars as taxable dollars. And so you're still looking at that as income in your business, and cost of goods going back and forth. So you need to be able to account for that when you get to tax planning
Yeah,
as well.
that's a good point. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. So I'm all about living your dream lifestyle. So
Yes.
tell me, what is your dream lifestyle, please?
Well, let me tell you that for me, it's building my life around my granddaughter's schedule. As I said, well, let me tell you, I was a single mom. And so I missed out on a lot of stuff when my kids were growing up because I had to work all the time. And so being able to be there for her and be there at school, be there to help with homework and do all of those things that I missed out on. That's one of the most important things in my life, is building my business around my family. So one of the things that we did when my granddaughter was a little younger, before she started school, I took my daughter and my granddaughter and we went to live in Belize for a while.
Yeah.
And I could do that because I built a business that only relied on my phone
Yeah.
or a laptop. As long as I had internet service, I could run my business and
Yeah.
I could live anywhere in the world. I could do whatever I wanted. I can work with who I want to work with and do the things that I want to do. Now, I'll tell you a little secret. I was the girl who didn't know what she wanted to be when she grew up. So I tried an awful lot of things. I would just wake up in the morning and say, oh, I want to do this. And off I would go and I would do that. Oh, don't like that so much. Let's try this. And, I still do that in my business. I have evolved and pivoted in my business probably 10, maybe 11 times over the course of what I was doing. One of the services that I offer, because I love writing, and it's a passion of mine, my degree's in journalism. I teach women how to self-publish and become best-selling authors. I have taught women how to build a business around helping other women self-publish books because that's what their passion is. It's something that they can do and build around whatever lifestyle that they want to live. And so for me, my perfect life is just having the freedom to do what I want, when I want, where I want. And that changes from year to year on the things that are really important to me. But being able to travel, being able to choose who I work with and what I do, and having the flexibility to change that whenever I want is really what makes me happy.
I love that. That's beautiful. Yes, I love to be able to travel. I believe that this lifestyle creates freedom for us.
It
And
does.
the freedom is like invaluable to
It
me.
is.
Like,
And when we have little ones, there's
mhm.
nothing better than taking them with us and traveling,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? And we started traveling when Izzy was really little. Oh, maybe she was 6 or 7 months old when we started traveling.
Mhm.
By the time she was 4, she was a seasoned traveler. She had her little things and her little snacks. And, when other kids were misbehaving, she's like, yeah, what's up with that? Why aren't they coloring? Why aren't they reading? It's like, I
Yeah.
don't know, but you just keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, girlfriend. Because there's so much that you can learn outside of the school, outside of a book,
Mhm.
and being able to take them and show them. And not only that, but because I've been her primary caregiver, she's a mini me. If
Mhm.
I'm doing a mastermind, she's lining up her little dolls and she's doing her own little mastermind. If I'm taking notes for a business meeting, she's sitting next to me and she's got her little journal notebook and she's sitting there. And at 7, she makes some pretty copious business notes. The spelling isn't always great, but she gets the gist of the idea. And, at 7, she can do Canva, she can operate Microsoft Word, she does business or journaling on the computer, digital journaling, because she sits and she watches me do all of those things. And so it gives us the opportunity to model entrepreneurial lifestyle to our little ones as well, which I think moving forward into the future, we're going to see a lot less corporate
Mm.
life, living life in high rises and buildings, and we're going to see a lot more remote working, whether you're working for a corporation remotely or you're running your own business from your home office. I really believe that that's where we're headed.
I agree. I agree 100%. I don't think
Yeah.
it reminds me of like Spain when they say you take a siesta in the middle of the day. This
Yeah.
is like a siesta that we're never going to come off of.
We're
We
not.
realize we don't have to go to an office, so we're going to stay home.
Well, and corporations have realized we don't have to have our thumb on everybody. They can be even more productive working from home. And why are we spending all this money on real estate for offices and equipment and yada, yada, yada? And, I think some people miss that water cooler chat
Yeah.
going on and all of that. But I also think that they really appreciate the other freedoms that they have in their life, that they have more flexibility, that you can work at home and you can have the laundry going, or you can run downstairs and throw something into the pressure cooker or whatever.
Mhm.
And your quality of life increases because you have more control over what happens in your day to day. You know, because you're not losing time to nonsensical meetings and water cooler chats and, all the other distractions that you have working in an office, you can build in time to go for a leisurely walk in the middle of the afternoon if that's what you want to do. You can go check into, when things reopen, a spa appointment in the middle of the day, and you don't have to do it on a Saturday or in the evening. And so again, you're enhancing the quality of life that you have with your family because you have more control over the choices and the opportunities that are right in front of you. And the thing that I really love about teaching women how to build a business is there's no longer a matrix from some HR department that says what you do is valued at, $16 an hour or $75,000 a year. You get to choose. You get to reverse engineer and say, I want to make $250,000 this year. What do I need to do that? And you reverse engineer it and you figure out what your product or service costs, how much you need to put into that, what that value is, and then how many of those you need to sell. And then you create that plan for going forth and making that happen. And there is so much empowerment in that. It is so awesome, for me in my business to watch women blossom when they really embrace what their worth is and how powerful they are to create a future that they want to live. And, whatever your ideal is, it doesn't matter because it's yours. It doesn't have to match what my why is or what my ideal is. If your ideal life is buying a townhouse in the middle of Philadelphia, and that's your ideal life to, be in that environment, and that's your dream, that's great. You can make that happen. If your ideal life is to have a summer home or maybe a winter home in a warm environment, you just, fly south like
Exactly.
snowbirds do. You can create that lifestyle. You just have to be able to find clarity on what it is that you really want. You have to have the courage to say it out loud, and you have to have the consistent action steps to get you there. But it all starts with clarity and courage, because sometimes fear holds us back because we're afraid that we're going to be judged because our dream is too big. I don't know how many women but I know a ton
Mhm.
who their inner crowd says, oh, yeah, you can't do that.
Oh, yes.
So and so's been doing that. Tony Robbins got that covered. You don't, you're not going to make it doing that. Or why do you need all that? We don't need that. You need to live a little smaller. You need to be a little more realistic. And so we're afraid of being judged. We start to take on those doubts that somebody else plants in our head. And we need to be able to step out of that and brush that off and say, you know what? I am worthy to have every bit of my dreams. And if I dream way, way too big, so what? They're my dreams. Even if I never attain what that dream is, I'm going to get a whole lot closer to that level of joy and happiness than everybody else around you who's saying, yeah, just stay safe, stay in that job, take that paycheck every 2 weeks, just don't get all uppity and just, be where you're supposed to be. This fits into what our perception is for you. Learning how to dream and learning how to fail forward are two of the biggest, I think, gifts that we as women can embrace.
I agree. I feel like we are too male driven in
Yes,
society. And
yes,
so men have decided what our values are
yes,
and what we are capable of.
yes.
I don't think that everyone is cut to be an entrepreneur. I don't.
No,
But
no,
I do agree. Your dream can be anything. Your dream can be to go up the corporate ladder and be CEO of wherever, of whatever. That can be
right.
your dream as well. But I think what you're saying is just go after your dreams. And even if you fail, you've learned from that mistake and try again. Just don't give up.
Exactly. And you know what? Our dreams can be fulfilled in many different ways.
Mhm.
Maybe it's through volunteering, and maybe it's through service
Mhm.
to be able to create the impact that you want to make. Maybe your dream is through becoming a foster foster parent and, working with kids in the inner city. I mean, your dream can be anything. It doesn't have to be through building a business. But one thing that I will tell you is that from my perspective, when you're able to create wealth, it gives you more tools to reach out and make an impact in the world and to help other people. Some people, and I work with a lot of women in the Christian community, and so I'm kind of speaking from the way that as women of faith, we've been trained to think that having riches is evil or wrong or selfish. And I don't believe that it is, because I believe that God wants us to live a life of abundance. God wants us to be able to provide for our family and not worry about things like food and shelter. And He wants us to be resourced to be able to help other people in our community and across the world. And so really knowing what our why is, and I'll share a little secret with you. Many, many years ago, I sold Mary Kay Cosmetics. And every time I went in there thinking, man, I need this money. I need to buy groceries. And when I went in there and thinking, this is what I need, I failed every single time. I wouldn't sell any additional classes. I wouldn't sell any makeup, nothing. But if I went in there and thought, man, I want to make these women feel so good about themselves. I want them to feel beautiful. I want them to feel served and planned for and loved.
Mm-hmm.
I would walk out of there with pockets of money. Everybody wanted to buy something, And so we need to really know what our motivation is and what our why is. And if you are in alignment with your values, with what God's plan is for you, and you're walking in your purpose, one of my friends says, when you follow your passion and your purpose, profits will follow. And I totally believe that, because we need to be in alignment, with God this way, but with ourselves horizontally and with our family and our community. And when you find that alignment, you'll find that things in your life flow. And that's, whether you're climbing the corporate ladder in a career or
Mm-hmm.
whether you're building a business. And I have a son who has an employee mindset all day long. He
Mm-hmm.
will never be a business owner, and that's okay, because he has his own path to
Right.
success and fulfillment and satisfaction. And that's okay. I have other kids who they're all about thinking outside the box and creating businesses and ideas and products. And that's okay too, because that's their unique path. But we just need to be able to embrace a custom for us blueprint for what's going to bring us fulfillment and happiness and help us show up and be the best person that we can be.
I love it. I love it. I have one last question.
Yeah.
So I'm a big book reader. So
Mm.
I would love to know what is your favorite book? What book would you love to share with the audience?
Oh my goodness. I'm a huge reader too.
Mhm.
And as a John Maxwell trained coach, any of John Maxwell's books are great on leadership, because I believe that all women are leaders. All women don't see themselves as leaders. And one of the books that I love is 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, because it really helps us ask those curious questions. But there's one chapter in particular, and I think it's chapter 2, where the exercise at the end of the chapter is to create a list of I am statements.
Mm.
And John challenges us to make a list of 100 I am statements. I
Wow.
know your eyes got really big. It's
Wow.
hard. It's really
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
You get to 15 or 20 pretty fast, and then you hit like 40 with a little struggle, and then you're like, I'm out of words. I'm out of words. And this is an exercise that I give almost everybody who works with me, because it's important. When you start hearing those negative voices externally or internally, you need to be able to counteract those. And those I am statements are the perfect tool to do that. So before you go into that sales call that you're not too sure about, or before you go in to make this big presentation to an investor, or you're pitching something to a potential buyer in a corporate environment, whatever it is, if you're feeling not too sure about it, you pull out those I am statements and you say, I am courageous, I am strong, I am powerful, I am qualified, I am good enough, I am articulate. I am valuable. Whatever you need to have on your list to make you feel powerful. And then, have your own Superman pose. Whatever that Superman pose is for you, put your shoulders back, hold your head held high, repeat those in there, and it's going to change the way that you show up and appear. And that's one of the biggest takeaways that I love from that book. On a less business kind of side, a recent book that I read was Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey.
Okay.
And I got it because I just wanted something a little lighter. And I'll tell you what, it was funny, it was impactful, it was insightful, and there are a ton of really great takeaways when it comes to mindset and what gives you a green light to move forward in your life.
I like that. Okay,
And
I'm gonna check those out. Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
So where can the audience find you? What are you working on? Please share with us so we can reach
Awesome.
out. Definitely.
Well, I am super easy to find. Anza Goodbar. If you Google me, you're going to come up with my website, ansagoodbar.com. On Facebook, it's Anza Goodbar Biz. And on Instagram, it's at Anza Goodbar. And I'm also on LinkedIn at Anza Goodbar. So I'm really easy to find. And my latest project, which is going to be launching at the end of the month, is a 12-month mastermind for women who are looking to start a business, but they just don't know where to start. We are going to go through the process that we spoke about earlier, excuse me, in reverse engineering. What is it that you want? Gaining that clarity. We're going to build a business plan. We're going to identify your ideal client. We are going to create a marketing and branding guide. We're going to talk about all the mindset stuff that you need as you learn and grow and develop. We're going to talk about different launching strategies and choose one that's right for you. And so it's a hybrid between kind of a consulting program and a coaching program where you're going to get the hands-on nuts and bolts of everything that you need to do to build a business, and then all of the helps that you need for all the tools that you need. Like I said, from mindset to free things to get you up and going. And you'll have a community of women that are going through it with you at the same time.
I love that. Thank you so much. We're going to put in Anna's show notes in the comments down below. And thank you so much for sharing this. This
Oh,
was wonderful. So informative. Thank you.
thank you for having me, Janelle.
All right, guys, this is the Janelle Show. Thank you for listening. And we look forward to hearing from you guys from next week.